Dad, you were right. We've both been through a lot of pain and suffering. I would not be alive without your love and support. For most of our life, our relationship was strained. I refused to be close to you because of things that happened in my youth, but Dad, I forgive you. I'm sorry it's taken me 3 decades to receive your love. All you ever wanted to do was love me. All I ever did was resist your love. Thank you for waiting these decades. Thank you for being my rock through the hardest times of my life. I thank God for you. Thank you from the floor of my heart.
These deaths were metaphysical. I saw a rheumatologist for chronic pain and a somatic therapist for politicized body-mind practices. But who could I, disillusioned from my Catholic Christian upbringing, and then unaware of ancestral healing knowledge, meet about matters of my spirit? I believe freshwater blessed me, helping me resist the Western medical science and terminology projected onto me. I began comprehending the chronic pain in my legs and the other flesh sensations as reminders to comprehend my body within a collective world rather than mistakes, failures, or lack.
I can hear evening revelry from downtown as I walk away from it. Shouts and laughter bouncing from the mountainous edges. It feels like home. And, like Seattle, I came to Bergen seeking the deep sea, but found myself stymied by the familiar. I'm no longer that small child who looked out at the sound, land and houses visible on the other side, and thought, wow, the ocean. Still, on the rare occasions when I see the Pacific's full splendor, my thoughts feel superficial, even vapid. Japan's over there, I think vaguely, looking across an expanse I can't fathom, defining it by the places people live. That ocean is more than 5 times wider than the moon, more unknowable, too.
Other than the music of the pennies, the boy made very little noise at all. It wasn't uncommon for us to be startled by his sudden presence. We would go to open a door, and suddenly the boy would be there, in his quiet way, rustling his pennies. None among us had ever touched or seen anyone else touch the boy. Not a hand on the shoulder, a high five, a handshake, nothing. All of these factors put together made us come to a startling realization. The boy must be a ghost.
He was a super cheesy guy with the usual rosy cheeks and twinkling eyes. I kind of wanted to smash his face. I didn't believe in Santa. Of course, I was 12, but even as a small child, I never believed. For this, my older sisters, trying to relive their childhoods through me, accused me of being cynical, too damn grown, and devoid of magic. Pure slander. I believed in magic. I just didn't believe in bull.
The door sticks when I finally get it open, and a sad feeling twists in my belly. How far my dad must have sunk not to fix the sagging hinges. The house smells like old wood, mustiness, and wood smoke, a hint of bacon, coffee, and something else I can't place. Someone has drawn the drapes so the whole place feels claustrophobic and dim, and I don't close the door behind me. He died in this house, this room even, and suddenly I know that this is the unnameable thing I'm smelling, although I didn't know the smell before.
For I'm queen of my own making, and yet still heir to the throne. I glide in grace. Goddess, 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 I shall be.
St. Valentine is named for one or two Christian martyrs and is the patron saint of not only lovers, but also intervenes in beekeeping, epilepsy, and the plague. At first, this seems an odd collection. On greater consideration, though, Each is fitting for a priest and a physician. Practitioners of healing and faith, attempting to predict the future, that which may strike or dissolve at any moment, but always leave scars in its wake.
Killer whales use echolocation to see what's around them. They shine a beam of sound to visualize the topography of the seafloor. Echolocation clicks are repetitive, monotonous, and practical sounding. They kind of sound like a sewing machine running a seam, a metronome finding its rhythm, a telegraph tapping out a message. Killer whale calls, on the other hand, are what the whales use to communicate. They sound like conversation, like laughter, banter, Marco, Polo, a yodel, yoo-hoo, cheerio, what you doing, where you going? Even if we don't know what they're saying, we know they're talking to each other.
It was still early morning, so the stinging nettles, huckleberries, and the curved heads of the fiddle ferns were all dotted with dew. Little Nikolai had been kneeling next to the young coyote, petting its furry head, when Anthony Harkin shot it in the chest.
Gunnar looked up toward the Great Spirit. The weight made him restless. He focused on extending his breath, holding it. The ability to control his respiration had become just as important in hand-to-hand combat as wielding a head axe.
I do not think I deserve to be happy. I will light myself on fire with this paper on this stage if it means you will see me. These weakening bones ripped through this body, these bones turned over from the heat into ashes. And the world does deserve to be happy, doesn't it? I too can want this. Thank you.